little bit off to the side here, guys. Welcome back. Shrink's in his house, in his cave. Once again, dreary day outside, raining here in Vancouver, about +3, which is, it's pretty nasty because of the cold. It's very damp cold, guys, here in Vancouver. It goes through you. And Christmas is coming up. It's creeping up, guys. Hopefully you got all your shopping done and you don't procrastinate like I do on so many things in my life. I don't know where that comes from. I mean, I wait right down to the very end sometimes to get something done. And I don't like that about myself, but, you know, we're just humans trying to do the best we can with what we got, right? So as the header says, vintage. Vintage. Now, what determines something as vintage in years is, I don't know the real answer to that, but I mean, I'd say something in the 70s would qualify as vintage. Others might even say the 80s, early 80s. I mean, that's, you know, you're up 40, 50 years old. That's got to be considered vintage. And I know that there's a really huge following for this stuff. You know, especially like Marantz receivers and things like that. You know, they're really beautiful to some, and I mean, I don't mind the look and stuff. I've never heard any vintage receiver in my space on this journey. Not one. I've always played around in the 5-year, 1 year, 5-year, 10-year max age. And the main reason for that, guys, is I don't know how to fix the stuff. And I don't want to start bucking out money for something I just bought, never knowing what could go wrong, never knowing who's been inside it already over the years. You know, these kinds of things. But there's some out there that do. And I could agree with someone if they say that they don't make them like they used to. I mean, the only thing that I have vintage or have had vintage on this journey are the high-end turntables. So one of the greatest turntables I've ever owned, and I know that it's still one of the best ever made, regardless of price or any of that stuff, are the high-end direct drive turntables. I had the top of the line Victor, which was the high-end JVC back in the day. I had the best motor direct drive turntable, the TT101 that's been ever made. You can do your research about it. It's up there like the DP80 of the Denon. I think there's an even higher one. Well, that's where those lay. The Luxman PD 444. These turntables still fetch, depending on condition, up to $3,000, right? And they're 50 years old. So I gotta say, I really do regret selling that TT101. It was all original. It had the original tone arm. It had the original rosewood plinth, the beautiful, like real quality covers back in the day. Like just thick and really, really good. And this thing, like I'm telling you, the complexity of the direct drive motor, I mean, this thing was this deep when you look. It looks like a spaceship on top, like the Den, and then it just came down. And this thing had levels of complex circuitry and capacitors, and I bet a repair guy once again would just say, sorry, all I can do with this thing is recap it because they're just too complex, right? To build that today, I can only imagine. So there's some really, really incredibly built pieces back in the day, and that's where I always go to Techniques. In my opinion, the Tech 1200 is the most iconic turntable of all time, okay? There's still thousands in circulation, if not more, and they still in good shape sell for more than they did when they came out. And I've owned many different versions of it. And as I showed on prior videos, the Tech 100C, which I thought for $1,000 American, it's a value that can't really be beat. There was only one corner they cut, which I felt was not the right place to do it, which is in the tone arm assembly. Lifter felt like a toy, but everything else, sound, plinth, world class. So, I still play with a vintage piece today, and I'm very, very proud to own it. Of course, you can't turn the camera lens around. I really want to show you the Technics SL-7 linear tracker, size of a record, built like a bloody tank. This thing weighs, I don't know, 20, 25 pounds. It's just everything on its metal. It's been flawless in operation. There's no noise, no hum. What did I pay? 200 for it or something like that. The music has weight to it. It's just a killer piece. And again, it saves the space, guys. It fits right in there beside the bel canto. I've showed it before. I don't even know how I could do it again, man, because I know I can't see it, but it's down there. And it's just so beautiful, you know. Look at the condition of that thing for 50 years old. There might be a little dot in it. And the thing that's so rare about it, guys, is black. It's basically as rare as hen's teeth to get in the black finish. So if any of you can get one of these that's actually in working condition, and there's a lot of little things going on with it, little complex little things that need to be working, like all the lights. There's the little 45 thing that pops up when it senses the 45 record. There's just these little things, and everything works on this. And I would highly recommend that you actually have somebody that's worked on these things, so if something comes up with the linear tracker that goes across, you know, he can change the belts, or he can lubricate, or do these kinds of things. So again, the main reason I stay away from vintage equipment is not because it won't sound good or any of that other stuff. It's just I don't want the headache down the road. Right? And I've been very lucky on this journey. I mean, there's been maybe one time I had to send a new piece in for a warranty. And I think one time I made a mistake and touched two wires together, and I cooked an amp, which I had repaired. And yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just the way it is. I try to stay somewhat current. But man, I know there's many people out there with their Nakamichi Dragon tape decks and these Marantz receivers and Sansuis and the big ass Sansuis and the vintage speakers and you know, they're having fun with it, and all the power to them. It's just not the path that I'm on, and I never will be, because I don't want to learn about electronics in that way. It terrifies me to even start. So, but again, that's a whole other topic, and I'm going to do a video on DIW because I know nothing about it. But I can come up with the content and talk about how I feel about it for you guys. But anyways, guys, once again, thanks so much for the support. Not only, you know, with the comments, but financially, you know, you guys, I can't say it enough, and I got to mention it. You know, us creators, we have a super thanks down there for a reason. And everyone that's putting out an effort to either inform or, you know, even entertain people, they deserve something. They just do. So, you know, I want to wish you guys the best holidays. This won't be the last video before Christmas or anything, but I always got to say it. You know, spoil your loved ones, show them love, keep them close, because you never know when they could go away. And yeah, enjoy your vintage gear, guys. Shrink loves you. Take care. Love, like, and subscribe. Cheers. Bye.